significant fixture. The Wigan Warriors have Radlinski at fullback, Dallas, Renoff, Johnson, Hodgson, Johns and Lamb. Haven't been many changes in these departments all year. The forwards, O'Connor, Newton, Cowie returns, Betts, Werner and Farrell. And on the bench, Cassidy, Davis, Howard and young Mark Smith. The coach is Frank Endicott. Now the Super League champions, the World Club champions St Helens. Today the men in black. Wellens at fullback, Hall, Iro, Newlove, Sullivan. Significantly, no Tommy Martin, he's injured. Paul Sculthorpe fills in at standoff alongside Sean Long. The forwards, Nicol, Cunningham, Furley, Shields, Yonkers in the second row, and Joint moving to loose forward to cover for Sculthorpe, who's moved to cover for Martin. And the substitutes, Matautia, Stankovic, Stewart and Dwayne West. The coach is Ian Millward. Fantastic crowd, and St Helens are here in numbers. It has been a pretty happy hunting ground for the Saints just lately, and their coach Ian Millward moves upstairs to take his position in the main stand. What a fantastic record he has got. Only 5 defeats since he took over at St Helens fully 18 months ago. And the St Helens fans, who are Twickenham bound, of course, in a couple of weeks' time, they are here to see whether their men in black, as they are dressed today, have got the Challenge Cup final on their minds. If they have, this team will exploit them to the full. It's a traditional local derby for Easter. And Good Friday simply wouldn't be the same without this. The Wigan Warriors, they have had a Wild West theme running around the JJB Stadium today, and the Warriors, they say, are the best in the West. So it's Wigan for so many years prior to Super League era, the dominant force, against now the dominant force in the game. The World Club champions St Helens, and the match referee is Stuart Cummings. Steve-O, it's bedlam in Wigan today.
Sure is, and they are all awaiting what should be a classic game. Very rarely do these two sides let us down. So many internationals on display today.
And Sean Long gets us underway. A high-hanging kick-off. Radlinski tips it inside to Cowie. There's the first challenge of this Good Friday fixture. And Cowie goes down on, doesn't play the ball properly, played it in a horizontal position, but Stuart Cummings says play on, and O'Connor drives it in for the second tackle of the match. It'll be fierce from start to finish. Wigan have waited and waited for this opportunity, because it was the grand final that slipped away from them last year to the Saints. It was the Challenge Cup that slipped away from them this year to the Saints, and St Helens now very much the top dogs of the British game, being able to claim the World Club Championship.
Well,
tackle.
I guess last night, Frank Endicott, the Wigan coach, he was supremely confident. For the very first time, not one of his top-class players are injured. He has a full squad to pick from, and he is very, very confident that they can get the 2 vital points. Won't be easy, though. St Helens, they never know when to give in. They play 100% for the full 80 minutes at any given time.
Well, Super League matches against Wigan over the Easter period are 4-1 to St Helens in the Super League era. But this is the way it looks head-to-head since 1973. And would you believe that Wigan have won 8 and lost 5 of those Super League games, thanks to their fine record at Knowsley Road, of all places. They've won 3 in a row, 1987, 88 and 89.
Pretty solid defence by Wigan. It has to be. So many big clashes out there, none bigger than Kevin Iro against Steve Renouf. 2 of the world's best centre three-quarters.
The kick from Sculthorpe, not a good one, found Radlinski on the bounce, and Radlinski starts another attack, but it's quickly brought to ground with Newlove and Joint in there.
Good chase though by St Helens. They forced the Wigan into their own quarter. That's the key in the kicking department.
Here now is Paul Johnson. He will remember this fixture last year, Johnson, because he was injured and and he missed the rest of the year 2000. But want the same to happen here. That was on the bounce to Renoff.
Good sliding defence though from Saints. They moved in very quickly, not allowing Wigan any chance to move around.
This ground also shared, of course, by the Wigan Athletic soccer team. The pitch looking a little bit bare in places. It's been a long, hard winter for the groundsmen, and we haven't had too much spring as yet, but there is the start of something, maybe, because it isn't raining today for once, and we all say thank the Lord for that.
Well, was it a knock-on? I think perhaps it could have been construed that way by the referee Stuart Cummings, but Steve Hall got away with it. And there's little doubt in my mind that Wigan will be peppering the right wing of Steve Hall. He can be a little bit dodgy with the pass. That's a great ball!
Cunningham found Iro, and Iro gets the ball away. It was touched by Farrell. This will be play on and back to 0. 6 to go for St Helens. Terrific pass from Cunningham, great run from Iro. Here now is Peter Shields, back in the side after that horrific injury he picked up in the semi-final. Yonkers for St Helens now. Thundered into by Newton.
Well, normally in these derby games, they really do get into each other in the opening 10 minutes, but you can see that St Helens want to get this ball plenty of air. Barely 4 minutes into this game, and Saints are throwing it about.
Joint, that's a good ball back on the inside to Newlove. Newlove tackled low down by David Ferner. Now Sean Long, once upon a time of the Wigan Warriors. Sculthorpe, back to Yonkers. Reception committee waited for him. It was Andy Farrell. This is the last, this set of 6. Cunningham to Long. He stabs the ball towards the goal line. Well picked up by Brett Dallas, but terrific chase from Paul Wellens.
Good work from both sides. Both an attack from Wellens there. And Brett Dallas positioned himself extremely well.
Wigan crowd going crackers at referee Stuart Cummings, saying that Saints weren't standing square, weren't back 10 metres at the play of the ball, but the referee says let's get on with it.
Pretty quick out of the blocks, but you expect that. Nervous time for both these sides.
Farrell necked by Iro. Last tackle, good defence on show here from St Helens. A lot of people said once upon a time St Helens could not defend. My word, they have rammed those words down people's throats over the past 2 or 3 years. Here now is Steve Hall to Paul Wellens. Flamboyant style from St Helens on show early.
Good work from the fullback there. Evaded the attempt from Paul Johnson.
Sculthorpe to Newlove. Dallas got him and finished off by Ferner. Sculthorpe again in a dummy half. Magnificent player, Sculthorpe. Wonderful pass to Yonkers.
Well, pretty carefree play by the Saints.
Here's David Fairley. Still going Fairley.
They're showing no nerves at all. They are a supreme, confident outfit of the Saints these days.
Sculthorpe finds Long. Long then to Wellens. Tried to step inside Renoff. That's the last. Dennis Betts and Renoff bringing young Paul Wellens to ground. Now Long, the engineer-in-chief with the boot. Lovely kick into open space. Radlinski shuttles across and picks it up. He gets away from Long, but he can't get away from Iro.
Cat and mouse in the kicking department, and it was a good kick there from Sean Long. Made sure that it went right deep. So important to this St Helens side. Missing his partner though, Tommy Martin. That could have a big effect on the Saints' effort. They do combine so well. Can they produce the same sort of football with Paul Sculthorpe at stand-off?
This is David Ferner. Wide it goes to Brett Dallas, and Dallas sees a little hole and gets Wigan to the halfway line. On the last tackle again though.
Little doubt that Dallas is the fastest man out there on the field. They'll have to keep a good eye on him, and again they pepper the winger Steve Hall, but he's been equal to the task so far. That's a great tackle from Bet. Wonderful kick and chase.
As soon as Hall played at that ball with his foot, it put all the Wigan players on side. They closed in for the kill. And so it's St Helens now who are penned near their own post. 20 metres away though with Anthony Sullivan. 3 tackles gone.
Neil Cowie doing some heavy work there. It was a fair tackle on the fullback Paul Wellens, but he really shook him up right across the chest.
Cunningham, and Werner was not standing square. Quick tap by Cunningham.
On. Well, they admit they don't play to any sort of set pattern this side, St Helens. He did well there.
There's the penalty.
Pushed into Werner. Werner wasn't standing square anyway. And that's the reason why the penalty, but Cunningham then comes up with an awful mistake. Oh, that would break your heart.
Radlinski's pass to Renouf had a big red cross on it. Here now is Farrell, driving it in down the middle. First half possession. 7.5 minutes, the ball in play for 7 minutes 12 seconds. That's why this game is so special.
Good build up there by Terry O'Connor. Oh, what a tackle. Welcome to the big world of the local derby.
David Werner felt that. His bones will have rattled. This now is Adrian Lamb. Off the floor, but there was a hand in there. It's a knock-on against Wigan. Against St Helens, my apologies.
Well, the little half-back Adrian Lamb, jinking and weaving, just got a half ankle tap on him. No doubt about the knock-on, but look at them lining up out there.
St Helens crowd aren't convinced that it was a knock-on by Long, but Stuart Cummings was. And here now is Matthew Johns trying to skip inside Wellens. Wellens did well. Paul Johnson, David Werner. Wigan threatening the line for the first time, really.
He's been in outstanding form as the second row, David Werner.
Newton to Lamb. Wide it goes to Cowie. Cowie fancies one. Still Cowie, and just held up a metre short. Quick play the ball. Newton trying to do a Cunningham.
Great defence there. Peter Shields at the helm. He's going.
Farrell. Hauled back. Terrific defence from St Helens this.
Surely the kick into the corner. Renouf's going out wide. So's Radlinski. Will go to the right.
Newton. Johns stabs it through, and St Helens come up with the possession again.
It'd be disappointing without the standoff. Matthew Johns should have had better use. Radlinski, and I mentioned Renouf going out wide. You've got to make sure that those kicks are solid, trying to force the pressure. And there's plenty of pressure out there at the moment.
But Steve-O, nobody these days can possibly question St Helens' defence. Cunningham now on the attack. Oh, what a hit from Radlinski.
Did he lose it? Well, Kieran Cunningham can't believe that it was Radlinski that came up with the double-decker hit. Oh, I thought he lost that, Cunningham, and it hit the ground.
I think he caught it just before. Yonkers flipped the ball back on the bounce, Joint collected it, retained possession, but it's on the last. Here now is Long, it's a high kick. This is a tester here for young David Hodgson.
Plenty of time,
up to it.
Plenty of time, Eddie, that was far too long. He's away. Oh, great tackle.
Well, Frank Endicott puffs his cheeks out, looks like he's enjoying this. He was really looking forward to it last night. St Helens now are offside.
Shields never made the required 10. That was good thinking there by Steve Renouf.
Newton gives it to O'Connor, who trundles the ball forward again. And then is pushed back and loses it. Went backwards, penalty though. Penalty, says Stuart Cummings, the ball was stolen.
2-on-1, big problem for the prop forward, David Fairley. In the St Helens camp, it was from that attempted tackle. It was a big hit on Terry O'Connor, but I can assure you it's David Fairley that's come up with the injury. It looks like a shoulder problem.
And here is O'Connor now with Fairley and with Peter Shields. Newton's the dummy half. Johns on it goes to Cowie. Cowie just inching his way towards that 10-metre line. He gets there in the end. Newton waits at dummy half. He gives it then to Matthew Johns. He gives it to Andy Farrell. Farrell skips through one, was almost home. Quick play the ball, Newton. Back it goes to Renouf. Renouf for the line. Just held up short. So close, Wigan.
Tremendous defence, though.
Back it goes to Adrian Lamb. Oh, intercept. Newlove's away. He's got Sullivan with him. Sullivan's quick. Sullivan with the race to the line. Dallas is after him. Fantastic tackle.
Superb play. He's got to be penalised, but the referee allowing the advantage. They've got the numbers.
They've got the try with Long. Howard Morris, the St Helens chairman, on his feet, just in front of Coachee in Millwood. That is St Helens at their supreme best. An intercept when Wigan were threatening the line, and they flooded forward to support the man.
He did two dummies. Adrian Lamb and the big fella in the centre, Paul Newell, plucked it out, did the right thing. I mentioned the fact that Brett Dallas is probably the fastest out there. He's proved it. Okay, you're a little bit slower when carrying the ball, but they had the men. They just kept swamping them. What a tremendous effort. Okay, came them a mistake, the bad pass from Adrian Lamb. But this outfit from St Helens, they just keep going and going, keep the ball alive. So quick and attentive.
Well, Sean Long with the try and right underneath the posts. Long against his former club. 4 goals against Wakefield last Friday. That was his 120th appearance for St Helens. This will make it 6-0 to the champions. 7 tries now for the season for Long.
Make a quick play of the ball, and you can see they've got their backs to the opposition. Look at all that space out wide. There was always going to be a try on. He could have gone on his own, Chris Joynt. He made sure that Long would be presented with a gift for. Accepts the accolades rather smugly in front of the Wigan crowd. Sensational play.
Well, not too many people are allowed to leave Wigan and go on to write their name into the history book, but Sean Long, the current man of steel, of course, he is one of the rare breed. But how resilient was St Helens in defence when Wigan were threatening that line?
Well, no offence to St Helens, they don't seem to have a towel, never mind throwing one in, they just keep going. At times when you think they should slow things down, they don't want to. They just want to play rugby league football.
What a pass from Cunningham.
They are so exciting to watch. They give their fans and us a treat every time they're on television.
Joynt with the kick through. Radlinski traps it with the boot and picks up, and a great chase again. Shields, Long, great effort. Long now from marker. Furley thunders into the ground.
Just shows you what you can do if you get your basics right. The kick and the chase and the defence, so important. Not many errors, not like we got last night. This is real top of the table stuff.
Yes, Warrington took time to settle last night. In the end, when they did, they got it right. But this, as you say, Steve-O, this is breathtaking stuff from 2 great sides. It's a decent enough kick, that, from Radlinski. And Sullivan now to work it back.
Good chase.
Led by the kicker, Radlinski.
Dish-like defence, they did the right thing, following through, but they're missing the tackle.
Yes, Newton missed Wellens. Good job that Matthew Johns was there. Here's David Furley. Terrific signing by St Helens, David Furley and Peter Shields.
Problems for Anthony Sullivan. He's just received treatment in back play. He's gingerly just jogging back into the attack now.
Sonny Nicol gets away from Newton. Gets away also from Farrell.
Got to go for the legs. He's big and strong, is Sonny Nicol.
Almost 350 career games now. One of the most experienced forwards in Super League is Nicol.
And talking of experience there, tremendous positional play yet again from Chris Radlinski.
Got away from Iro, couldn't get away from Steve Hall. Ran off the man behind him at dummy half. Now young David Hodgson.
Just notice how the Saints defence are coming in on the angle. They're forcing Wigan down a very narrow channel, and it's basically just one-out football from the Cherry and Whites.
That was better. O'Connor offloaded to Newton. He then found Adrian Lamb. Paul Johnson is the dummy half. It goes wide to Ferner. He releases it. Betts was there. Here is Matthew Johns to halfway. But St Helens swarming around the ball carrier, who is now Betts. It's Farrell. Farrell gets away from a couple, but just runs into a black wall.
Big problem there, though, as he's running across the face. There was no runners to help him.
Last one. Matthew Johns with the high kick. Wellens underneath this. Oh,
what a great take.
Brilliant take under pressure.
Paul Johnson allowed him to take the ball. It would have been a penalty if he hadn't have done that.
Here's Wellens again. He's showing up against Chris Radlinski, the other side. Two of the best full-backs in the business on show here today. Two of the best Cunninghams. Two of the best hookers on show here today. I suppose we could call hookers Cunninghams from now on, couldn't we?
I'll allow you to. Oh, great little switch. Came from the blind, open side to the blind side there. So adventurous, this is Saints outfit.
Mueller keeps the movement going again. Yonkers, long. It was on the last. Now then, here comes Radlinski.
They're just swarming all over them. Oh, that's silly play. They really didn't need that from Peter Shields. Picked up David Hodgson. Spun him around, tried to drive him into the ground. Not allowed to go inside the leg. Well spotted by the official Stuart Cummings. And that's relieved the pressure. And you just get the feeling that Wigan are wobbling somewhat. They've thrown everything at Saints, didn't come up with any points. The poor pass from Adrian Lamb gave them the opportunity and they took it.
Cowie now for Wigan. Into the chest of Fairley. Cunningham is there, Nicol is there. Three of them bring the Wigan prop forward down. Newton to Lamb. Lamb then to Dennis Betts. Plenty of derby match experience under the bonnet for Dennis Betts. Ferner! Oh, what an important ankle tap that was.
Sculthorpe it was. Try saver. The big fella would have been on his way to the line.
Wigan are giving it some air now. This is Renoff. They're 8 metres away, but this is the last tackle. And the sign has gone from Johns to expect the kick. It's a dab towards the goal post, and he's after it is Radlinski. And Radlinski thinks he's scored. The referee is going to hand it on to the video ref. Well, Radlinski thinks he scored. There will be a couple of things. First of all, did he get it down before the dead ball line? Also, was he onside?
Well, we'll soon see about the onside. Yep, he's okay. Only just. It's a planned move that they aim for the bottom of the post. They'll go frame by frame. That's when it makes impact, so that's fine. That's okay. Did he get it down? Well, I don't know why they're having a look at it again, the video referee. You can see quite clearly that it's not the man nearest, it's the second man out. That's a try.
Oh, what an effort from Radlinski.
Superb kick. Well, they were caught napping. It was a beautiful weighted kick there from Adrian Lamb. And he has made up for the error where he threw out the intercept.
Frank's nodding, he thinks it's a try.
So do I.
And the video ref agrees. Radlinski celebrated his 25th birthday this past week. That's a belated gift. And Andy Farrell is ready, lined up the conversion attempt, and the score's a level at the JJB.
Well, it needed something special to break down this solid Saints defence, and it certainly was that from the little halfback Adrian Lamb. Initially he was aiming for the post, it just skims through, and they just stood around for the first time. Paul Weller's a little bit slow to react. Well weighted, it did hit the post, and ricochet, so let's take a little bit away the blame from Paul Wellens. But Radlinski, the poacher, supreme.
Try against Leeds 2 weeks ago. Second try of the year for the Great Britain and England international, Chris Radlinski. Here is Neil Cowie now for Wigan.
Well, they're looking somewhat sluggish, but now that try will have lifted their spirits. And there's the captain taking the ball forward. Wigan could serve themselves a little bit better if they start playing the ball a lot quicker. Saints are holding them down, getting away with it.
Ferner tried to offload the ball, and they managed to retain possession in the shape of Adrian Lamb. Did the Wigan Warriors.
Well, Lamb lost that ball, but it did go backwards.
Renosvik can't get away from Long, and he tried to release the pass in an impossible situation.
Well, that's silly play. Under so much pressure, possession is vital.
Steve Hall, tracked by Hodgson.
Ooh, swinging arm there from Terry Newton. He came in late.
Right on the halfway line, Cunningham. Nickel. Cunningham again. Peter Shields.
Interesting how Saints are using Sculthorpe, the standoff today. They're using him way out wide.
Nickel trying to extricate himself from the grasp of the tackler on the floor.
Now watch for Sculthorpe and joint combination. Oh, what a tackle!
Terrific tackle from Dallas. Wellens looked round for the red and white bust.
It was Joint that went through on the dummy run, scooted around, there's Joint disappearing, and Wellens disappears also under the weight of Brett Dallas. Talk about reading the script.
Well, that number 2 bust came all the way from Australia for that. Brett Dallas, what a tackle.
Gee, expensive ticket.
Radlinski's in at dummy half. Wigan want to get on with it, but St Helens are slowing them down at the play of the ball. This is Renoff now, and Long is all over the show. Big in defence and inventive in attack. Betts.
Well, if Saints can get away with it, it's to their advantage, and you can see they're trying to spin the ball carrier onto his back, but Wigan don't seem to be in the mood to play quickly.
Radlinski was almost through. He is through.
To be fair to Radlinski, he didn't play on it, but the referees got it. He wanted to play the advantage.
It was Peter Shields who caught him high. Oh, so did Nickel.
It's Nickel that made the impact. Here he goes, second one. Oh, that's disgraceful.
And he's coming off. I think it might be a blood bin, though. There's blood coming from the mouth, and well, Vila Matautia comes on. It is a blood bin. Fourth official showing the green card with the white cross, so blood bin changed by St Helens. Meanwhile, Wigan have the penalty, and they've also made a change, bringing on Harvey Howard for Dennis Betts, and here's respect. Andy Farrell almost 40 metres out, but he's going to take the shot at goal from this penalty to give Wigan an advantage.
Common sense, as well as respect, of course. They are playing against the world champions and the Super League champions.
Farrell's given it the hoof. He's got the 2 points. Fantastic kick from Andy Farrell. Got right underneath it, and it spun and floated its way over the bar. Wigan ahead 8-6.
Good move, though, by Frank Endicott, the Wigan coach. Bring on the big fella, Harvey Howard. He certainly will strengthen the forwards. It's going to be a tough battle out there. When they bring on the subs is always vital, and here he is, the big fella.
This is Harvey Howard. I think we said that it was Dennis Betts who was coming off. Betts is still on the field. Harvey Howard, I think, has replaced Neil Cowie. Well, no place today because he's injured for Tommy Martin, and having to watch from the sideline. Wonder if St Helens will miss him in the end. Newton puts the pass down. Looks a little out of sorts, does Terry Newton today.
Lost attention there. He was going back on a different avenue. And it's just little mistakes like that that can just swing the game around.
Matautia tried to get away from Matthew Johns, couldn't get away from David Ferner, plays the ball to Long. Here now is Chris Joynt. Another note in the book for Frank Endicott's half-time talk.
There's little doubt he's spelling N-E-W-T-O-N. Drop ball, lack of attention.
Cunningham going down the short side. Great tackle by Ferner. Long gives it air and finds Sculthorpe. Great tackle again. That was Johns and Lamb. This is Peter Shields. This is Sean Long. A dab over the top. That'll run deep. That goes dead. So let's go down to the sideline. Former Wigan and Great Britain captain Phil Clark watching this. Phil, you're a veteran of many Wigan Saints matches. This is as good as any we've seen for a while.
Certainly is, Eddie, and I think Wigan have recognised in the last few encounters against St Helens they've got to ask more questions of the Saints defence. If you tend to see now with Andy Farrell, they're hitting out wide, making the likes of Kevin Arrow do a little bit more work in defence, therefore tiring him for when it comes to the ball in his hand. They know that they must do that because Saints are so dangerous, and they have that one commodity so priceless in any sport, that of speed. We saw when Sullivan got the interception, they can counter-attack better than any team in our sport at the moment, and that is what makes them so dangerous. Very evenly balanced at the moment. Chris Radlinski outstanding for Wigan. His work rate as a fullback, well, he's just a class apart.
Phil, I have to ask you because people will be saying just how neutral are you on a day like this?
Well, I've got the red and white underwear on, so I'll keep quiet.
Oh, well, that's a thought.
Red and white.
Aye. That could be either way, really, couldn't it?
Very nice.
Well, red and white for Wigan, and normally red and white for St Helens, but today they are playing in black, and Steve-O has got his black underwear on. And Phil Clark, to be fair, when Steve-O wasn't here, he roared the Saints on to the World Club Championship.
He sure did.
As we all did. They did the British game such a service. Cunningham.
Lovely run again from the hooker. So important. It makes the opposition work. Tires them out in the first and second marker. He'll let that go.
Yes, content to do that.
And they'll be happy with it. Okay, they're 2 points adrift. Anything can go in these derby matches. The seesaw one way and the other. I hope now that their solid defence can dislodge the ball, force Wigan into coming up with that mistake. So earlier, Terry Newton just took his eye off the ball. Sufficient to get a knock on.
So Wigan have possession with Paul Johnson. 2 tries for Johnson against Leeds here last month. 32nd start here today for Johnson, and 33 tries in his Wigan career. That's a fantastic strike rate.
The thing that has surprised me about the Wigan attack is that they're not utilising any sort of dummy runner. We've seen it on the Saints side, but Wigan, they seem quite content just to use the forwards in a one-up situation and then try to swing the ball out wide.
Attacking up the middle, though, is Matthew Johns.
You see, when you get a jinking run like that from Johns, you need people to distract the defence, and Wigan are not doing it.
It's a great kick from Adrian Lamb because Sullivan must run this ball back. Dallas waits for him. Great chase. Lamb and Dallas. Lamb working at marker, misses Wellens. Betts gets to it. St Helens supporters on their feet, unhappy with Wigan's defensive line and with their marker position at the play of the ball.
Good work there, though, from Sculthorpe, made vital yards forward. That's more aggressive play.
That could have been judged forward. Shields gets to his feet. Cunningham. Long. Hoists the ball out wide. Dallas. There's a black wall of defenders moving up. Look at them to try and pen Dallas back, and Joynt gets to him.
Another great kick and chase. There were 8 St. Helens players zoning in on the wing of Dallas there. That just shows you the enthusiasm, the team spirit that's going throughout the St. Helens side. They work hard for each other.
Newton trying to drive it further forward. 3 tackles gone. Adrian Lamb, it goes wide to Ferner. Oh,
he's
Ferner's
lost it.
Here's Matautia. This is a chance for Saints.
That's the mistake that the Saints were hunting for.
Sullivan now.
And they're making far better ground forward, especially in and around the rucks. Wigan finding it difficult, but not the Saints.
Cunningham to Sculthorpe, on it goes to Long. Long then showed it to Wellens, lovely dummy, Iro! Yes! What a try! Created by the little shimmy and dummy from Sean Long and Kevin Iro. Well, Ian Millwood doesn't show much emotion on that occasion, but that was a great try. A former Wigan legend, Kevin Iro, 6 tries in 4 Wembley finals for Wigan.
This is a mistake. Ferner has the ball dislodged. Nothing wrong with that. The big fella took it on. Matautia, and from there, the shimmy. You don't hesitate with this fella. That's what they did. They hung back. They tried to come for the big fella. Never going to stop him. Beautiful work from Long. Run the angle. See the difference. I was talking about the fact that St. Helens are using the dummy runner. That's the reason why the Wigan defence just hung back. Sufficient enough for the big fella, Iro. What a try.
And he loves Good Friday fixtures against the Saints. A hat-trick last year and one the previous year at Central Park. So Kevin Iro maintains his Easter record. Frank Endicott glum-faced as Sean Long lines up this conversion attempt. Wigan letting go to witness 4 years ago, and what a kick! What a kick from Long! Just walks nonchalantly away. As soon as it left his boot, he knew that was 2 more points.
Look how the man circled in the black shirt goes back on the inside. That's the dummy. It makes them hesitate. Throws the dummy again. Does Long. Superb stuff. Offloads at the very exact moment in time, and he gets in for a try. He's a big game player, no doubt about that.
He played for the Cook Islands in the World Cup last year, a former New Zealand Test star before that, Kevin Iro. 22 tries last year. It was his best ever return, and he's well and truly underway in 2001. That's try number 4 of this season.
Sean Long got up with a big grin all over his face. Newton dumped him. It has been played in a great spirit, I must say that. And there's some wonderful rugby league football being played out there. Remember, St. Helens, they've snatched an opportunity. 2 tries they've scored from 2 mistakes, an intercept and a knock-on from Ferner.
Booming kick downfield again from Sean Long. Bounces awkwardly, then in the end Dallas clasps it to his chest. Look at the enthusiastic chase from the champions there, defence.
Well, the one thing that is for sure, Frank Endicott, the Wigan coach, will certainly... Oh, it's away!
Hodgson! He's got support, Radlinski! Wellens, terrific!
Excellent stuff. Radlinski tried the in and out. He wasn't going to be fooled, Paul Wellens. It looked like David Hodgson was just away. Frank's not happy with the official. They're still holding down, but they're still getting away with it, Saints.
Now the St. Helens defensive line is set. Ferner was the dummy half. On it goes via Adrian Lamb. And that was Matthew Johns. He gets to his feet. Lamb. Farrell dabs the ball to the corner. Hall picks it up. Does well. Well, they might have tested him with the kicks to his wing, but Steve Hall has stood up so far.
Showing the confidence from his coach Ian Millwood. Many people thought that perhaps he would be missing from this big game.
Well, they had a 2-to-1 overlap on the left-hand side then, Saints, but joint came the other way. Now they will go down that channel. Here is New Love. He rode the first challenge, but he couldn't get away from the next one. Yonkers, Cunningham. Offloads to Helens. Sensational stuff here. Always is. They never let us down, the players of this great game. Lovely kick from Long again, over the top of Dallas. Can't let that go, because that would have been a 40-20. So Dallas will run it back.
Again, 8 black shirts.
Shields and Iro in a bit of a tangle then. Here is Terry O'Connor. Good ground made by the big prop. Good defence from Yonkers and Joint. Newton, reverse pass, Farrell. Ferner hits the deck. Good tackle from Paul Newlow.
And still they're getting away with the fact that they're just holding on.
Well, they've not got away with it this time.
Impatient, back-chatting, extra 10. Will they go for the 2? No, Farrell wants to get on with it.
Well, he's having a look. No, he is. He's going to go for territory.
I think he's made the right decision too. They want to make a big blow for their confidence and undermine the confidence of St. Helens and try to get a try before the half-time break.
Well, so often in the past, this has been the danger zone for teams facing Wigan. But look at that! Ferner caught in possession and just dumped over the sideline. And Sculthorpe will not take a backward step. Sculthorpe is having an outstanding year. So is he.
Wonderful stuff to see. Nothing wrong with the tackle. Went across the foot. Look at that. Newlow made sure that there was never any going to be chance he went down the ground, and then with the extra pull from Paul Sculthorpe. The cover defence from Saints is outstanding, and that tells its own story.
Well, you're right, he was supremely confident last night, Frank Endicott. But hey, this is the champions they're playing. Oh, outstanding pass!
Could it have been a slide forward, that last one? No, according to the touch judge.
Peter Shields out the back door, Iro. Here he is again, Iro. And now it's Wigan's turn to try and bundle him over the line, but Iro goes to ground.
Dropped like a sack of potatoes there, did Iro. Oh, big hit. Come and get me if you can. And Matautia lifts the elbow. It went into the chest, it was okay.
Cunningham! Great tackle there by Harvey Howard. Sculthorpe long, here come the Saints again. They're looking for something to half-time. The kick is an invitation to Sullivan, but the whitewash beat them all. They're in the last minute.
Thinking all the time, little halfback Sean Long. Try to give an opportunity for that man, Anthony Sullivan. And putting the pressure on Brett Dallas. He certainly has the speed, he showed that. And they came back and caught Sullivan after Newlove took the intercept, but they finished up scoring the try.
Dallas now for Wigan. They have less than half a minute and they're trying to do it again. Sculthorpe and Sullivan trying to bundle the man in possession over the line.
I think Wigan will be quite content to just run the clock down.
Well, they're trying to run the opposition down here. They've got the overlap. It's with Renoff. He keeps it alive to Hodgson. Space for Hodgson, but he's on his Todd. And that's the last tackle of an absolutely breathtaking first half of rugby league. Farrell's Wigan are trailing by 12 points to 8 at the break. This big crowd held spellbound by this Good Friday bonanza. An absolutely fantastic first half that has simply flown by. And St Helens, the champions, leading in Wigan's own backyard by 12 points to 8. Sean Long has been inspirational for Saints, and Iro with all the strength in the world. 12-8, the champs.
This Easter, Sky Sports brings you all the key matches.
That's fantastic!
Tonight. Bolton v Birmingham.
Yes!
Tomorrow.
Man United v Coventry.
Easter Sunday.
Celtic v Dundee United in the Cup.
Henrik Larsson has won it for Celtic.
Bank Holiday Monday.
Blackburn v Huddersfield.
Signed, sealed and delivered.
And Everton v Liverpool. The Easter weekend lineup continues with Bolton v Birmingham tonight at 7, Sky Sports 1 and Extra.
If you break down and one of our RAC patrols gets you restarted, they'll follow you until they're confident that you're all right. A to B, we RAC to it. To join, call 0800 77 0099.
This man has been called the most influential person in British politics. But he's not a politician. He has well-placed contacts throughout Whitehall. What he doesn't know about the election isn't worth knowing. And he reports directly to just one person. You.
No more nails means no more nails. No more nails on architraves or dado rails. No more nails on skirting boards. No more nails sticks virtually anything to anything.
Fingertip-controlled sealants from Unibond. Is this the end for sealant guns? Unibond thinks so.
Powered duct tape will stick, bind, repair and seal almost anything, anywhere. Strong, tough, waterproof. If it needs doing, get the duct to do it.
So what can we do for you, sir?
You just whiz it off.
So what do you want to go for? I was thinking of that.
I just want to get away from that student-y look.
I'll have the pink.
My family think I ought to change my image.
Leave the years on. Take the hair off. A Mohican.
Could you suggest something?
I like perm.
Ah.
I thought mauve.
You know, every house has an extra room that no one thinks about. It's called a garden. First, get the flooring right. Paving looks nice. And decking. Then, coordinate the walls and the furniture.
We're driving down the cost of DIY. This job cost £636, 51 less than last year.
All you need now is the right lighting.
You and B&Q.
Business as you've known it is history. We're in a brave new world with more information than you've ever seen. And if you're not part of it, you're part of the past. How do you unlock its potential? With EMC. EMC opens the door to all your information. It's the one place where you can see your information from every place. EMC, where information lives.
For £39, you and your partner can join RAC. A to B, we RAC to it. Call 0800 77 0099.
Live Rugby Union and Live Rugby League coming up for you tomorrow. At 8:30 in the morning, action from the Super 12s as the Waikato Chiefs take on the Natal Sharks. That's followed at 10:30 by Live Aussie Rugby League, St George Illawarra against Parramatta. And at 2 o'clock, it's Sale against Wasps from the Zurich Premiership. So that's Live Rugby Union and Live Rugby League coming up for you tomorrow here on Sky Sports. And just to complete your Easter programme, how about this for afters? Bradford Bulls against the Wigan Warriors. It's live at Valley Parade with us on Easter Monday on Sky Sports 1 from midday. Will Wigan take their 100% record with them to Valley Parade? At the moment, it looks doubtful. The champions are ahead by 12 points to 8. This is the way the statistics have gone, and a huge penalty count in Wigan's favour, 6-1. Kieran Cunningham running strongly from dummy half as he always does. Terry Newton, Helens and Wigan, wherever they play, on whatever day, in whatever conditions, whatever's up for grabs, fantastic entertainment from start to finish. And this, Steve-O, no exception, breathtaking.
Oh, mouth-watering, wasn't it? And that was a great 40 minutes, and I think St Helens will feel very, very pleased with himself indeed. Look, in this pressure cooker of rugby league football, it's all down to sometimes when you make a mistake. And that's how it panned out the first try. It was a long pass there from Adrian Lamb, picked up well by Newlove, who did the right thing, but look at the positional sense of Sullivan. He came in off the wing, took it away. We mentioned the fact that Brett Dallas, perhaps the fastest on the field, it proved it there, but they wanted to get on with it. Look at that. Sullivan says, let's get away from play the ball. They were queuing up. Chris Joint could have gone in on his own. They had their backs turned to them. It was always going to be a try. Sean Long gleefully accepts it, and as I said, came from the mistake. Wigan came back. Adrian Lamb made amends for that pass. Hits the post. Bit cruel for Wellens, but Redlinski. Superb try. They were into it, and for once during the game, it looked as though they were going to take control. But look at the hits that's going on out there. Dallas on Wellens. Full credit to Wellens. It looked as though he was going to be knocked out. And yet again, pressure. Lost the ball, Ferner. Mataudia picks the ball up, and from the resulting play the ball, Sean Long at his best. Notice the dummy runner. That creates hesitation in the defence. He offloads just at the right moment. You can't go high on this big fella. And he had all the strength in the world to get a try. Fantastic 40 minutes. They just get into each other, don't they? But I just get a slight feeling, Eddie, that this St. Helens side, they're playing more of a team. There's a lot more running off the ball, and that's creating problems in the Wigan defence. And I think that unless Wigan tighten up their defence, they could be in for a hard afternoon.
Steve, I'm mentioning the defence there. Prior to this match, they'd conceded just 4 tries in 4 games. They've conceded 2 in the opening half against St. Helens. Now, when Phil Clark was playing for Wigan, generally the Wigan side had the upper hand over the Saints. But Phil, just lately, St. Helens really do have the Indian sign over your former club, don't they?
They certainly do. I was very fortunate to have so many good players around me. And that try that Kevin Arrow scored there from the Sean Long run, that's the first try Wigan have conceded on their left-hand side defence all season. And that just shows the quality of the Saints' attack to be able to break through such a strong defence. And really, Wigan perhaps giving possession to St. Helens too many times inside their own half. Really, Saints are so dangerous, and particularly if you give them possession close to the line, they invariably come away with points.
Phil, we've seen 2 great full-backs in that first 40 minutes. OK, Redlinski, he should hold at the Great Britain spot, but I tell you what, this Wellens is soon getting to him, isn't he?
Well, I think Paul Wellens was outstanding in the World Club Challenge against the Brisbane Broncos, and I think ever since that, that's brought the best out of Chris Redlinski. Here's the break. Redlinski tries an in and away, but the great one-on-one battle between the 2 number 1s, and I really think that contest is really bringing the best out of both players, and is very good for the game.
Well, a fantastic first half behind us. I mean, 12-8 at half-time. Steve, where would your money be now if you were a gambling man?
I'd have to say that I'd have to go on St. Helens because, as I mentioned before, that their teamwork and they're running off the ball, it all helps, because if you can confuse the defence, you're going to be in with a chance. St. Helens' defence very, very solid, so therefore it's going to take something exceptional from Wigan, and they are being forced into a one-out situation, playing down a narrow channel down the middle of the field. Frank Endicott has got to come up with some tactics in the second half.
I'm sure that's what he's trying to do right now in the dressing room below stairs here at the JJB Stadium. But, you know, there have been some fantastic performances from the players out there already. We've already mentioned the fullback. We've mentioned Sean Long. It really could go to anyone, the Man of the Match award. And with the Man of the Match award goes this. That's the wristwatch that the top player in today's game will take home with him. And he will have to have impressed Steve-O and Phil Clark in the second 40 to pick that little prize up. And you, if you agree with Phil and Steve-O, which is, believe me, a very difficult thing to do, you could win yourself a couple of tickets to the grand final, which, of course, this time last year was between Wigan and St. Helens. 09009 10 10 13 in the UK, 1550 92 35 56 for Republic of Ireland viewers. 2 tickets for the grand final on the 13th of October up for grabs. All the winners into that draw to win the box at Old Trafford as well. Now, any comments you might have to make about the game, about us, about Steve-O, about Phil, whatever, rugbyleague@skysports.com, and all news. And you'll be able to pick up some news of Wakefield's victory over Bradford on www.skysports.com. We'll also, by the way, don't leave us at the end of this match, because we will have highlights of Wakefield's victory over Bradford Bulls last night when this small matter is finished here at the JJB Stadium. Well, this time last year Wigan had won 5 in a row, then they were beaten 38-14 at Knowsley Road. Is history going to repeat itself? Find out in the second half.
Currys, we're lowering prices yet again. Over 500 amazing savings this Easter. At Currys, Britain's biggest for low prices.
No mixing, no sanding, no cracks. Polycell, no sanding polyfiller. It only takes 2 ticks.
This commercial is rated X. X for extreme protection. Extreme polishing wax from Turtle Wax stands up to everything nature can throw at it. X for extreme shine. Our breakthrough Trilicon formula gives you a rich, glossy shine. It's easy. X for extreme durability. No matter what the weather, this shine lasts and lasts. Extreme polishing wax from Turtle Wax.
And try Colour Magic Plus with a free chip repair stick.
With AOL, we'll give you the opportunity to enter a whole new world. So now you can do what you really want to, whenever you want to do it. And we'll even help make sure your kids don't get to see anything you don't want them to see. Only what you do.
Welcome to AOL. Call 0800 237 237 to be part of it.
Go on, my son.
If you're looking to find some extra cash, there is an easier way. Switch your home insurance to Prudential by calling 0800 300 300 and you could save around £80. Hardly small change. Call us now on 0800 300 300 for a free instant quote.
Hi. See you when I get back then.
You all right, sir? Is it hemorrhoids?
Thank you. Where's music choice gone?
It's on 480.
480.
There we are. Now press the red button to start.
Aha! Now for some real music.
Not country.
No. Jazz. How exactly do you...
Scroll to the right until you find jazz, then hit select.
Ah, now. Back to the painting.
Take it easy this Easter with my family feaster. All you gotta shell out is $9.99. Nobody does chicken like KFC.
No gun, just squeeze and fill. Polycell Squeeze and Fill Polyfiller. It only takes 2 ticks.
If you only watch one film this Easter weekend, make it Star Wars.
Yes.
But if you watch more than one, we've got tons for you to choose from.
Hey, baby.
The big names. The big films. The big question. Hey. With this much choice, what will you watch this Easter weekend? Only on Sky Premiere.
Just gonna go watch a movie.
Hull win their match later today against Halifax. Hull, by the end of this Good Friday, could be top of the table. And it's Hull against Saints on Monday at Knowsley Road. And there's Bradford and Wigan on Easter Monday at Valley Parade. It just gets better and better and better. Frank Endicott has returned to his seat in the stand. His team are out there on the field. And can they pull this back? Farrell gets us underway. Second half's in motion. St Helens are 40 minutes away from yet another famous victory over the Wigan Warriors.
So important that Wigan sort a few things out there. The combination of Adrian Lamb and Matthew Johns really was, well, rarely seen in that first 40 minutes. They have to start firing very, very quickly indeed. And also the Wigan pack have to be a little bit more robust. Got to take it across. St. Helens are getting over the advantage line very easily.
Mick Cassidy there has replaced Dennis Betts, and he got the tackle in on Kieran Cunningham. Mick Cassidy in his testimonial year at Wigan. And Wellens takes the tackle just inside his own half.
Kieran Cunningham picked up a knock on that passage of play.
Good kick from Sculthorpe.
Ooh, dangerous stuff.
Bullet pass from Radlinski. Hodgson did well, but because he had to take his eye off the on-rushers and keep his eye on the ball, he was clattered. Renoff for Wigan. Second minute of the second half.
Well, Wigan so often in the past have been so dangerous from deep within their own half. And that maybe is one time that they can just catch this St. Helens defence off guard.
Newton spins it wide and finds Johns, finds Renoff, finds Farrell. Farrell, oh, the ball has spilled again. St. Helens have it back. The pressure of this situation seems to be getting to Wigan. Joint.
Well, they look lost there, and it looks like Newton, he's down.
This is a new love.
Big hit.
Harvey Howard stood his ground. Sculthorpe, Long, Yonkers took the tackle himself. Cunningham misses out Long and finds Peter Shields. Little flick out the back door to Iro. Wigan hanging back and delaying. It could be fatal. Now they're around him. Frank Endicott looking thoughtful. Here's Long. It's with Sculthorpe. Lamb met him with Ferner. Cassidy there for good measure. It's the last one for the Saints. And Long will run it down the short side. He finds Newlove. Dallas is with Newlove. He gets the ball away. It's still on the last. There's a high kick coming in here from Sullivan. It's diffused by Radlinski, and Wigan will get it going again.
Superb play there.
Now then.
Wasn't a bad kick from Anthony Sullivan.
Radlinski flung the ball to Farrell for a quick restart, and it hit Peter Shields on the back of the head, but Radlinski looks bemused, and he believes that Peter Shields put a little header in there just to delay even further, but the referee happy there was no ungentlemanly conduct. Let's go down to the touchline. Bill Arthur has been earwigging at the dressing room doors.
This is a critical stage of the game for the Wigan Warriors. The coach, Frank Endicott, wants his side to come out and, as he says, ask more questions of this St. Helens defence. Wigan may be guilty in that first 40 minutes of being a little bit too predictable, and he's looking for a bit more variety in attack from his side. At the same time, he doesn't want to see them slackening off in defence, and in fact wants to see their defensive effort increase, but he doesn't want to see mistakes like that, as once more Wigan concede possession. Ian Millward, delighted with that first 40 minutes from his side, knows that this second half is going to be a mighty arm wrestle, and St. Helens have got to maintain control. They've got to be really disciplined, on top of their game defensively and on top of their kicking game, because they want to keep Wigan down at their end of the pitch, make them play the game deep in their own half and force the mistakes, just as they did in that first half.
Sounds simple, doesn't it? But it's anything but.
Well, if you fall down on your basics, then you're going to suffer. Especially when you're playing against the St. Helens side, who are eager to keep this ball alive. They've had some tremendous offloads.
Harvey Howard, not standing square. Harvey Howard brought over here, and he has yet to start a match for Wigan.
Well, surely they'll go for the 2 points here.
Yes, they will.
Well, I'm not so sure that he should have been penalised there. I thought the St. Helens player took a step off the mark. Pretty difficult for a fella to just stand his ground and a bloke runs past you. You've got to go for him. I just had a hint of suspicion that he moved off the mark.
Look at this crowd, and 21,000 are in here at JJB Stadium, and Wigan Super League record crowd. The Wigan St Helens derbies are alive again and kicking. 21,000 here.
Great to see, isn't it?
It's fantastic. It really is.
They've been served up a feast as well.
It's wonderful. Yes, they have. They've all had their money's worth. Oh, Sean Long. I've never seen him do that for a long, long time. Sliced. 8-12 it stays.
Disappointment deep inside, I'm sure. Relief for the Wigan players and the Wigan camp, of course. I just feel that whoever scores next perhaps could psychologically take control of this game and therefore run out winners.
Sculthorpe gets it to Joint. And Joint has got Adrian Lamb all over him. Newlove down the short side again. Lamb and Ferner once more. Sullivan dummy half this time. Here's Sculthorpe. On to Long. Long to Matautia.
Well, the Wigan defence, they're moving up, but still St Helens are being allowed to offload. That went through 4 pairs of hands before anyone got anywhere near.
Cunningham with a typical scampering run on the last. Sean Long, Sculthorpe. A dabbed kick towards the in-goal area. Sculthorpe's after it.
He's lost it.
Well, has he?
He lost it, he did. This will be no try. It was a wonderful effort from Sculthorpe.
Well, the referee was about 4 metres away, and he doesn't know. Steve-O's up here, and he says he's lost it.
He does. There.
Oh, and blimey.
It hits the deck.
Can I tell you something? The people who fix the fixed odds have got Steve-O at 4-1 today to make a blunder on the video referee.
That'll be no try.
You're going to cost me a fortune if you...
He didn't get it, and it hit the ground. He grabbed at it at the same time, but if you lose control and it touches terra firma, that's a knock-on. I haven't been wrong yet, and I'm going for N-O-T-R-Y.
Well, 4-1, say the fixed odds people, that he's going to be wrong at some stage. What's the decision? Money's safe. Well, last year you couldn't buy a decision.
That's wiped the smile off your face, hasn't it?
No, I just want you to get one wrong. I'll be about £12,000 richer tonight.
I know you give me that look to say clever clogs, but it was quite clear, even from up here, that Sculthorpe did not regather that ball cleanly.
Oh, you are a clever dick. Cassidy. Newton. On it goes to Lamb. Here is Johns. St Helens slapping at it.
First real break we've seen from Matthew Johns. I mentioned at half-time that you've got to get a little bit more involved in the half-back position. That certainly would lift his spirits. It's taken a while as Matthew Johns to settle into the English style of rugby league football.
Adrian Lamb, that seems too strong. And it is.
Went close to the winger. Not a bad little kick down on that blind side. Well, this is where the defence has to be solid. Make sure that they can keep them camped down, but Saints have this wonderful ability of getting across the halfway line before
not playing
putting the kick.
Play on, says Stuart Cummings. Wigan were hesitating, waiting for the whistle for the knock-on. Didn't come.
Well, you're supposed to place it on the ground. You certainly didn't do that. We turned the clock back about 50 years there, where they used to drop it and strike it at the same time.
St Helens moving the ball across the line again. It was always going to be something special. There's so many quality players on show. Long dabs it through. Radlinski collects. Long leading the chase.
Good refereeing there from Stuart Cummings.
Tell you what, Steve-O, even though Tommy Martin is absent, with Sculthorpe there standoff today, St Helens have lost absolutely nothing, have they?
He's an international class player. Little doubt about that. And he's grown in stature as the years have gone on.
Now Wigan have the penalty.
Well, it's about time. I was wondering when Mr. Cummings would get the little P warbling in that silver thing.
Let's have it quicker, come on.
And he's just told everybody, let's have it quicker, come on. Well done.
Harvey Howard. Sculthorpe and Joint just stood there. Howard could not pass. Lamb, Cowie.
Forward setting up. Cowie striking it down the middle. Cool to do a switch. They're going blind.
With Lamb, and here is Johnson. And Johnson almost all the way to the line. Wrestled to his backside by the St Helens defence. Here's Cowie now. Cowie, a big man. It takes something to bring him down.
Quick play of ball, long ball onto the left. But Saints have got themselves set up.
They're going left. Lamb, Johns, Farrell. Wide to Renoff. Try for Wigan. They spun the ball quickly. The scores are level. And Steve Renoff, fourth try of the year, and every single one of them scored at the JJB Stadium in front of these fans.
The forward set it up. He said at half-time he wanted more adventure. Ian Millward knows that they're in for a big game. Johnson went ever so close. It was a wonderful effort there by the centre. And from here on in, the forwards then drove it into the centre. Beautiful switch. Then the link from the two half-backs. Notice how Farrell used Radlinski coming back on the inside. They didn't use the dummy runner in the first half. They've done it on this occasion. See the hesitation. Just enough for Renouf to get in there. They're back. And back with a vengeance. 21,000 people packed in here in the JJB. They're being served up. A real treat.
Steve Renoff's try has levelled the scores. Andy Farrell now with a kick tight to the corner. Renoff just keeping off the whitewash to score a legitimate try. Farrell! Wow! 14-12. Ian's turn to frown.
Sliding defence, see Farrell circle and run the angle, but watch for the dummy. Redlinski is utilised, takes the man out, just enough. It's all about fractions of seconds here. He's in.
And we're back in progress again. 52.5 minutes gone. Wigan with a slender advantage.
Well, we knew they had to pick up. Endicott was not happy with their performance. Trying to test the opposition, that's what he wanted, more and more. Ask the questions, he said. Well, they certainly have done that. And isn't it amazing? I can't remember Matthew Johns making a break ever this season. And it's built his confidence. Maybe the half-back pairing now will start to click. Johns involved again.
Wonderful pass to Renoff. Couldn't get the ball away. Andrew Farrell's kick from the touchline puts him now within 3 points of 2,000 for Wigan. Only second to the legendary Jim Sullivan with his point-scoring exploits. He needs 3 more for 2,000.
Looks like they're going the short line. No, it's the kick.
And it's Johns who's hoisted it. Wellens underneath it. Safe as houses.
Well,
what a talent.
I'd pay to watch just the full-backs play.
Well, if we're going to call hookers Cunninghams, what should we call full-backs from now on?
Backlers.
The crowd's warming to this. I'm sure you are at home. It is top quality stuff.
And don't worry, Saints aren't done. They just don't know how to lie down, this mob.
A went out here, but Newton and Cassidy were waiting for him. That's the last one.
And how important was that missed kick from Sean Long?
Yes. There is Long. That's a dab across the face. Ooh, it nearly hit the post again. Just had Radlinski stuttering and starting for a moment.
Well, they all tried, don't they?
Oh, you agree now?
Well, he definitely went for it there.
You don't think Harris did at the Valley, though?
What, 65 metres out? Hardly.
He was in exactly the same position as Sean Long was then.
You're in a mood, aren't you? No Easter egg this morning?
We give them on Sundays. Newton! Great run!
See him. He looked the wrong way. He had Lamb on the left-hand side.
Farrell off the outside of the boot for Radlinski to chase. Bouncing all over the place. Hall is trapped. What a chase from Radlinski. What a kick from Farrell, by the way.
It was a set move. Farrell was facing into the right corner, but it went back the other way. Look at Radlinski. He knew exactly where the skipper was going to put it. Don't let it bounce in this game, otherwise you're under pressure.
So we're going to force the goal line drop out, courtesy of the kick and the race from Radlinski. First one of the match. Remarkable, that. All that pressure from both sides. First goal line drop out from Long coming up. Adrian Lamb pops it up. Here comes Harvey Howard.
A lot more vim and vigour now in the Wigan pack. They really have lifted their game.
Cowie,
get out of the way.
Pushed Yonkers in the face then. Newton, Lamb, Johns, Farrell's wide, Renoff's wide. Farrell wrapped up by Iro.
Great ball and all tackle. No chance for the skipper to offload there.
Ferner up the middle.
Will we have a scamper from Newton?
Yes, we will. Oof, what defence.
Oh, Newton at the arm. I thought he was going to let one go there.
Farrell, bullet pass to Renoff. Renoff is over the line.
What a try.
The hero of Wigan on this Good Friday. Second try for Steve Renoff. Wigan are finding them wanting out on that right-hand side of the St Helens defence. Ian Millwood knows he's got a bit of a problem there. Renoff's exploited him twice.
Quick play the ball, set up by the run from Newton. He went low, went underneath, nothing they could do about it. Watch for the body strength here. He'll go low, look at the fend, get out of the way to Sean Long, he's over. Such a hard man to put down.
Oh.
Little dig in the ribs to Dean Bell.
And a little nod of the head. Steve Renoff, whose old club, the Brisbane Broncos, were beaten earlier today down under in Australia by the Sydney Roosters. And the good news for British fans is that Adrian Morley scored a crucial try in the Roosters' win. Not a good day for Brisbane, but it's developing for Wigan.
This is a crucial kick too.
It is, and he knows it. He's on 1997 points for Wigan. This for 1999. He's missed it. So, 18-12. Just a converted try between the two.
Well, at a different side in the second stanza are the Warriors. That is a fine effort, you know. They purchased this fella from Australia mainly because of his skill and twinkling toes and, of course, the agility and the speed. But he showed there that it was the strength, upper body strength, that got him over there in the end. Wonderful fend-off on Sean Long.
The 10th time that Steve Renoff has scored 2 tries in a match for Wigan. He has never registered a hat-trick yet. What a day to pick. Long was bounced out of the way by Farrell then. The Wigan captain is gritting his teeth. Here is Cassidy! Makes the half break, but he's on his Todd. He's on his own, is Mick Cassidy.
Yes, but he wants to get on with it, and that's the key factor. quick play of the ball, and you can see that Saints defence struggling to get back. They're keeping it alive, Wigan now.
With Cassidy again, who began this attack. Now he dies with it 30 metres out.
It has to be a good kick here.
It's the last one. It's with Adrian Lamb, and he hoists the crossfield bomb. Looking for Dallas. Bounces, Sullivan gets it, and Wellens has it for St Helens, and it gets away from Terry Newton.
Wonderful positional play yet again from Paul Wellens. He knew that Anthony Sullivan had let that ball bounce and he was going to be clattered when he took the ball, so he put himself in a position so that he could offload.
Wigan are swarming around now, the players now. Joint. Great tackle, Adrian Lamb.
This is going to go down to petrol in the tank stuff.
Sculthorpe drives it in, tackled by Cowie and by Cassidy.
It's been a tough encounter, but it has been played in absolutely wonderful spirit.
Yonkers takes the next and last. Cunningham. Long. Running it, St Helens. Now the kick. Oh, he's knocked on as Radlinski. I was going to say difficult ball to pick up, and Radlinski proved me right before the words left the mouth.
Well, he doesn't normally do that. He normally traps it with his foot, and he took the gamble to pick it up with confidence. Pressure. Even the very best, the pressure can get to you. He knows it too.
Last quarter of the match. An hour gone.
There was no one in and around him. He had time to stop it with his foot. A basic error. Big chance for that man.
Here's Yonkers. Sculthorpe's the dummy half. They're going down the right-hand side. Long is there. Iro! Great tackle, Adrian Lamb.
Only way to tackle the big fella, get his ankles.
Hall at dummy half this time. Long. On it goes. Now then. Great run from Fairley. What a signing this fella's been.
Great effort from the big prop forward.
They're lined up down the left-hand side. Cunningham.
He's lost it. Tried to be a little bit too smart there. Changed his mind. He set off from the dummy half position and then was looking towards offloading the pass. That's why he came up with a mistake.
Here's Farrell. Stankovic is out there. Just lost it.
He was just about to offload. Changed the mind midstream.
Cowie and Betts just back, having taken a breather. Almost through, but it was a great tackle from Joint.
That's a good substitution as well. Dennis Betts, very strong in the defensive department. That's the reason why Frank Endicott has brought him back on.
Referee, I think, saw a little left hook there from Neil Cowie on Paul Wellens.
Field position. Or was he going for the ball? He certainly went for the ball on the first one. I think the second one, he maybe mistook the head for the ball, perhaps. Or maybe not.
Well, who is your man of the match? 09009 1010 13. UK viewers 1550 92 35 56. If you're watching in the Republic of Ireland, win yourself a couple of grand final tickets. This, remember, was last year's grand final. And the way that these two sides are playing today, there wouldn't be any complaints if it was the grand final in perpetuity. Mind you, Bradford, Leeds, Hull, they'd all have a bit to say about that. Stankovic!
Wonderful tackle by Radlinski. Stankovic got through the first attempt.
He's gone without it again. Twice in 2 minutes. You don't see that twice in a season. Never mind twice in a match.
He can't believe it, and neither can the crowd here. Twice in as many minutes, and the pressure is off. Psychologically, St Helens will be just at a low ebb now. This is the moment where the opposition can make it count.
Ferner and Sculthorpe are having a ding-dong. It is one heck of a battle. He's gone for a 40-20, as Adrian Lamb. Instead of that, it will stand for Anthony Stewart. Now then, can Wigan get the mistake again. Mark Smith is out there too. The coach is ringing the changes. As Steve-O says, it will probably come down to stamina in the end. That's a great offload by Sullivan. Here is Stankovic. Oh, Fairley again, what a run.
And what an effort there from Mark Smith. 3 tackles on the trot. That's the reason why Frank's thrown him out.
Joint can't get the ball away, and then Mark Smith involved again.
Workaholic, isn't he?
Cunningham. Sculthorpe. Longs on his inside. What a pass!
Outstanding rugby league football.
Cunningham. Wellens stabs the ball towards that wing. Hodgson's there. Wellens ankle tapped in. Stankovic. And Yonkers finish him off.
What a great build-up. Super kick. But what positioning yet again. David Hodgson. He's certainly learning very quickly. He has to at this rate. The pressure out there is enormous. Just one mistake can swing it either way.
Quarter of an hour remaining. Johnson was away from Fairley, couldn't get away from Newlove, so Fairley weighed in with the tackle as well. Mark Smith to Lamb. Last one, good defence again from St Helens. Mark Smith. High kick, but Stewart operating now at full-back. He allowed it to bounce. He got away with it, though. Good chase by Renoff.
Picked up an injury there. Steve Renoff. 2 vital tries scored today.
This is Steve Hall.
And they're looking a bit tired. One of the players out there that really are struggling somewhat.
Sullivan still over halfway.
Just lost his footing at the vital moment. Betts cleaned him out. That's forward. That's a knock on. Take your pick. Cunningham said he was interfered with. Allowed to get involved, and that's what Dennis Betts did.
And he hit the arm, he didn't hit the ball, so it's a knock-on against St Helens. Head and feed at the scrum to Wigan.
Sometimes it's calm.
Well, he thought that the scrum was going down and Saints were getting head and feed. And then he realised Stuart Cummings had other ideas. Chris Joint has left the field. Dwayne West comes on to replace him.
Well, I'm glad that the referee has blown the whistle. It gives me a chance to take the breath. Never mind the players. Exhilarating stuff, this.
It's level pegging all over the place, isn't it? Even on the error count. Well, Fairley on Joint and on Cassidy rather, and Cassidy knew he was about.
It's important that Saints keep their discipline. Only 6 points adrift, of course. Can't afford to give a penalty anywhere in this area now, as Wigan will certainly go for the 2 points on offer.
It's royal entertainment, though, for Good Friday. Johns enveloped by Hall and Stankovic. Last one.
1 pointer, perhaps. No, they've gone wide.
They're trying to give Renoff the hat-trick, are they? It's with Hodgson. Now it's with Farrell. Crossfield kick. Radlinski's after this. Sullivan's under it. He's missed it. Radlinski will score. But I think he'll go to the video referee before giving this. Wants to see what happened when Sullivan lost the ball and hit the deck. Was there any interference? Were they onside?
No doubt about the ground, and Radlinski pretty confident. A bit too flashy, perhaps. Now then. No.
I think Sullivan
was actually trying to impede Dallas more than anything. Well, I've been 100% so far.
Now then.
I'm going to go for TRY.
4-1, remember that he gets it wrong.
I'm pretty confident. I'd put your house on this one. Yeah, Dallas slips, and I don't really think that he's impeded.
Well, he's not concerned about onside, offside.
There's a big flash here. Oh, it's a try. I'm confident.
So are the Wigan fans and the video referee, and Ian Millwood just smiles ruefully. Radlinski gets his second of the day, and Wigan could be on the way to Valley Parade with a 100% record for the midday showdown on Monday.
What a superb kick from the skipper, Andy Farrell. It was good work by young David Hodgson to keep the ball alive, and no interference there. Dallas just slipped at the vital moment. It may have just made Sullivan take his eye off the ball. You could see Sullivan's head just have a little look at the last moment. Nice style. Went over, half twist and pike, but it's the 4 points that counts. Radlinski.
Well, if Andy Farrell reaches 2,000 points for Wigan in this game, he's had to do it the hard way. Kicks from either side of the field. This one, though, is the right side of the pitch for a left-footed kicker. Oh, dear. He stays at 1997. Wigan are 22-12 ahead. Didn't like the video referee's decision, Ian Millwood, did he?
Never does, he did. I think the video ref got it right.
Well, you would say that. With odds like 4-1 that you get it wrong.
I think you're missing the point here. I mean, the fact is that the video referees this year have improved so much.
Of course. It's not you that have reread the rule book in the winter off-season. Well, 10.5 minutes to go. About time, I think, that we heard from Phil Clark, although Saints have just got it back. We'll risk going down to the sideline to Phil. Is it over and done yet, Phil, or is there still a little bit more to go?
Well, I thought a few minutes ago that we still had the real excitement ahead of us when St Helens were just 6 points behind. But I think they've missed their 2 opportunities. Perhaps if Tommy Martin had been on the field, they had the ability, and Sean Long's tied up close in possession, for him to create something out wide. But, well, you can never write these guys off, and with Cunningham taking the ball now, well, let's just see. 10 minutes to go, 10 points behind. They've still got a chance.
They have. Remember last year when they scored right on the death. Mind you, it was Tommy Martin who stripped the ball underneath the post one-on-one and got the vital touchdown. There's a penalty. Stealing by Cowie.
They want to get on with it. Cowie's still on the deck.
It's with Sculthorpe. Oh, if Saints score here, the cat's amongst the pigeons. Wellens. St Helens lining up, coming down the short side. Stankovic. Back it goes to Long. Then inside to Fairley. Oh, Fairley. He just rumbled over the top of Cowie. Cunningham. Sculthorpe. Long. Wide. Stewart. But in. Dwayne West. Dwayne West for St Helens. Where's that cat? Where are those pigeons?
I can see the Cumberland tumblers coming down already. You little beauties. Feed them with corn. They just won't die down, this lot. They are never done. And West has kept their hopes alive. I thought they'd blown it when the 2 mistakes from Kieran Cunningham blew their chance close to the line, but not on this occasion. Radlinski got there too late. He's not happy, Frank Endicott. He knows it too. Good work by Dwayne West.
Dwayne West was once upon a time with Wigan. His dad was a captain and coach of Wigan, and he's just scored for St Helens, and Long has missed the conversion. 22-16.
Well,
it's still there for winning.
It was a penalty conceded by Cowie, and when Sean Long took the tap, Cowie was still sat on his bottom. We'll get a few words from his coach, Frank Endicott, I'm sure.
Well, he's off the field. Cowie was immediately withdrawn. But it is a blood bin, apparently.
Well, it's amazing, you know. Every time we show Ian Millwood coming down to the sidelines, It's as though it's a magic wand, and St. Helens just performed for him yet again. The bag of tricks.
They just don't know when they're beaten, Steve.
It's a big bag.
He's only lost 5 times in his entire St. Helens career. And, well, it might still be 5 times come the end of this. Ian Milwood down on the touchline now. Man of the match, who's your vote on? You have to agree with Phil and Steve-O. 09009 10 10 13 in the UK. The Republic of Ireland viewers, I'm sure you know the number by now.
Good work there by Dallas, but they didn't get to him. Newlove still makes progress. Big problems for Kieran Cunningham. He's picked up an injury. He's in a bad way. He might not finish this game.
Sculthorpe's chip through is collected by David Hodgson. A good chase on.
Cunningham slowly but surely getting back into the defensive line. He got a knock on the knee. He's a tough hombre.
Well, in 2 weeks' time, St. Helens will be involved in the 100th Challenge Cup final at Twickenham. But there are no Challenge Cup blues or Twickenhamitis about this lot. What a blood and thunder match this has been. It's had everything.
Year in, year out, they just don't let us down.
Well, this week we're celebrating the 10 years of Rugby League on Sky Sports, and you know, I think over the 10 years that we have been here, we have seen every single one of these matches. It's the Sky Sports years on Thursday at 8 o'clock, 10 years of Rugby League on Sky Sports. It's a highly entertaining programme, I hope you'll agree, but nothing really that can compare with the deeds of derring-do that the players put on for us week in, week out.
10 years, eh? Little wonder I'm bald.
Another penalty.
Lack of discipline again. First Cowie, now Farrell, the captain. Milwood sends out the orders.
Come on, fellas.
Silly play.
Well,
the tackle was completed.
They punched the ball deep, I remember, in these circumstances here last year, and claimed the victory right at the death. Matautia did brilliantly. Cunningham!
He looked as though he'd only got one leg 5 seconds ago, Cunningham, and then he sets off on a run like that.
Matautia now releasing the ball. Try this. It's a try. This off his knees. Sculthorpe. St. Helens are going to draw level.
Off his boot. Knee didn't matter. It's certainly not a knock on. It is a try.
He knows. He's just told Stuart Cummings it came off the leg. How on earth does he get the ball away?
Doesn't matter.
It's a try.
Off the shin. No doubt about it. This game isn't over yet. They're going to be locked, surely. The never say die attitude. They were done. Saints were done. You can't say that, though.
Never. It's a word that's not in the dictionary. That one is. Oh, Ian Milwood, I don't know what you have got, but you have something pretty special. It's called a rugby league team that you have assembled, and they are terrific.
Look at the big fella. He attracts 4 to him. It leaves the gate open, and Sculthorpe, soccer fashion.
This for level pegging. All square at the JJB, 22 each.
Let the kettle boil, don't move. Don't take your eyes off this one. Now comes out the drop goal specialist.
Well, dearie me.
They had it in the bag. 2 occasions, lack of discipline has cost them dearly.
22-12 with 11 minutes to go. Now it's all square, and who's got the best drop goal kicker out there? 3 minutes and a little bit.
Well, we thought that in the semi-final, and when they dropped that 1 point, it looked as though they'd close it down. But St. Helens don't do that. They don't do anything logically. They just go on with it. They went on to score a try. It was Sculthorpe, remember, in the dying seconds. The last move of the entire game, where normally you'd think they'd just close it down. They're just so exciting.
And this fellow is St Helens personified. Oh, didn't like it.
Silly play from Long there.
And he gets the penalty against him. Well, I'm glad Ian Millwood's enjoying it.
Well,
but the retaliator always gets done.
I'm not so sure. I think it was Sean Long that went in first. He did. Not the retaliator this time. He's the man who started it. He can't believe it.
Farrell's going for the penalty kick at goal.
Why not? He kicked one before from about the same distance.
Well, 10 metres further forward. This is from halfway, this. Well,
you're in a picky mood, I just know.
I don't know whether I can stand much more of this. Not you, this tension.
After 10 years, you're not saying that to me.
He's not 50 metres, he's 50 and a bit, because this ball is in his own half. Farrell to give Wigan a 2-point lead. Not got the legs. Told you he was 10 metres out. Too far. Wellens to run it back.
Most important is the fact that he didn't kick it dead in goal either, so it's Saints with the possession. Maybe he's taken the wrong option. Maybe would have been better kicking a touch, driving in and going for the 1 point.
Ian Millwood has never had a draw against his name in his coaching career. He is 1 minute 20 away, but Matauti has come up with a mistake. Wigan have the possession. This is the last hurrah for the Wigan cavalry now.
Well, will Matauti come from hero to villain there? He created that try for Sculthorpe. Now he's come up with a mistake. Surely they're going to drive. It's not the time for fancy football.
Well,
it's a time for common sense.
Will they go early? Joint is back out there. They are now 17 metres away and bang in front. It's back with Farrell. Drop goal from Farrell to win it. Why?
3 under
claiming
pressure.
It was touched. Claiming it was touched.
Claim all he wants. He's not going to get his way.
30 seconds remain. St Helens up at the wrong end of the field as far as they are concerned.
Good work though by Saints. There were 3 men went for Andy Farrell. Maybe they should have used Andy Farrell as the dummy and gone to someone else.
Fairley. Oh, slips.
He's had a big game, Fairley. They all have. It's been an outstanding match.
Cunningham. Well, 8 seconds remain. Fairley drives it in again. Down he goes. One play the ball left.
Sculthorpe, is it?
Stankovic. He's tried, but he's missed. Match is over. The share spoils at the JJB. Breathtaking match. Wonderful entertainment in front of a record crowd at the JJB Stadium. Ian Millwood's first ever draw. 22 points apiece. Absolutely wonderful. Wigan 22, St Helens 22. At 22-12, Wigan looked to have the game in their bag with 11 minutes remaining. Then West's try and Sculthorpe's try gave us a grandstand finish. 22 points each. Terrific stuff. Well, it was just as good, believe me, at Wakefield last night when the Bradford Bulls were in town. Highlights of that match now with Bill Arthur.
What a way for Wakefield coach John Harbin to celebrate his birthday by seeing his side end Bradford Bulls' unbeaten record in Super League. Yet the Bulls had made the best possible start with Robbie Paul's try giving them the lead after just 6 minutes. And when Leon Price added another try soon after to make it 10-0, it seemed Bradford were on their way to a 5th straight win. But the Wildcats clawed their way back with 2 tries in the space of 5 minutes from Neil Law, the first doing a lot to a storming break from Willie Poaching, and some unimpressive defence from the Bulls, who failed to take the law into their own hands. Martin Pearson then took a leaf out of Robbie Paul's book to set up the next try for the Wildcats, with a chip and chase and then a booming pass that sent Law in again. Pearson converted both those tries to make it 10-all. It was 12-all with 15 minutes to go. It was the Wildcats who were purring with satisfaction. David March racing in for the deciding try and Wakefield's first win over the Bulls in Super League.
The Wildcats beating the Bulls, the result of the Super League year so far. Now then, still to come on Sky Sports. Following us shortly here on Sky Sports 1, it's the Big Fight Special, Prince Nazim against Marco Antonio Barrera. The Friday night Sports Centre is at 6 o'clock, and at 7, live on Sky Sports 1 and interactive on Sky Sports Extra, it's First Division football, Bolton against Birmingham. There's live Championship snooker over on Sky Sports 2 now, quarter-finals of the Regal Scottish 2001, and another chance to catch the Big Fight Special tonight at 10. Coming up next on Sky Sports 3, there's live Euro Tour golf, action from day 2 of the Moroccan Open, and at 8:30, live coverage from the US Tour. And looking even further ahead, Rugby League World is back on Wednesday week. Now then, if you haven't caught the programme yet this year, you don't know what you're missing. Let's just confirm how this match here on Good Friday has finished at the JJB. 22 points apiece. The man of the match who wins the Tissot watch is David Furley. Let's join him now with Bill.
David, congratulations, man of the match. There's the watch that goes with the award. What an experience of your first Saints Wigan derby game. What do you make of it?
Actually, second one. We had them in a Challenge Cup, and certainly it's everything we expected. You know, 21,000 people here at Wigan's home ground. And, you know, it was great. It's great that we come away with the draw. Showed a lot of character by our boys. Wigan would obviously be very disappointed. It's just a great game of rugby league.
Well done. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much to Tissot too.
Move quickly on Saints coach Ian Millwood, and I should imagine Ian satisfied with that point.
Oh, it was a great game of rugby league, wasn't it? Two great teams, and that's what you expect.
And do you think you came out of it with your just reward?
Oh, either team could have won there, you know what I mean? You know, like if we'd lost, you know, I mean, the better team would have won. If we'd won, I think the better team would have won. Not much in it, you know what I mean? Probably a point's a fair result.
Thanks, Ian.
No worries.
Cheers.
And John Fennessy of St Albans, not St Helens, but St Albans, he successfully chose David Furley as the man of the match. He's off to Old Trafford on October the 13th. I don't know whether our breath and our voices will last to October the 13th if we get much more than this. But dearie me, Steve, what a match that was. And any of them could have been the man of the match. I thought Paul Sculthorpe was outstanding.
All of them, I think, were just absolutely sensational. I think a fair result, a draw, but Wigan will be ruining the fact that they had the opportunities. They had the game all sewn up. They gave away 2 silly penalties late in the match, and like they always seem to do, don't they? St Helens came back. You can't put them down.
Well, every 100% record has gone in Super League, and we're not even through Easter. We will be through Easter on Monday. Valley Parade, Bradford Bulls against Wigan. Don't miss that. Till then, goodbye.
This is BBC Two. Now the Super League show presented by Harry Gratian.
Well, I hope you've not overindulged on the chocolates, because if you've got the appetite, we've an Easter treat for you. Good Friday just got better as Wigan and St Helens cross paths. Holy Trinity, Wakefield stun Bradford. And troubled Leeds find the hungry Wolves at their door. And a happy Easter to you, and welcome to the Super League show. I'm joined, of course, by Greg McCallum, the Director of Rugby with the Rugby Football League. Later in the programme, we'll be talking to the new coach of the Leeds Rhinos and one of Wakefield's heroes from last week. You can email the programme on super.league@bbc.co.uk. We'll include as many emails as we possibly can. But we start with the most traditional fixture left in the Rugby League calendar, Wigan and St Helens on Good Friday. Saints have had the edge in recent years, so could Wigan beat their arch rivals for the first time at the JJB Stadium? Wigan were at full strength, but Saints were without Tommy Martin and Sean Hoppy. Our commentary team, John Keir, and first, Dave Woods.
It's 1-0 to St Helens, the small matter of a Challenge Cup victory just a few weeks ago. Revenge is on the minds of Wigan, and in over 100 years of Wigan-St Helens derby matches, very few have disappointed.
Yes, the upper hand in recent games has really gone the Saints' way. But they're here at the JJB Stadium. I'm sure that the Wigan Warriors will be looking to redress that balance.
This is Wigan with the early possession. Newton puts the ball inside for Farrell. And some very willing defenders amongst the defensive St Helens line. Ferner. Little offload from him and does well. Now Betts. Referee this afternoon is Stuart Cummings, making sure that St Helens are back 10. Wigan looking to stretch them on the right-hand side. One tackle to come. This is Lamb, whose kicking game has been impeccable in recent weeks.
And they'll be happy with that as a start. The first set really did take them forward, although Adrian Lamb's kick went dead, and I'm sure Frank Endicott would have been hoping that the ball stayed in play. It's the Saints to restart with the tap 20.
Put down 15 yards short of the halfway line. Cunningham again. This is Nickel. Always very high intensity games, these. Long. This is Iro, one of several former Wigan players, of course, in this St Helens line.
Well handled there by Severinoff. He's always a danger because he's such a big physical presence, Kevin Iro, but Severinoff did pretty well then against him.
Still on the halfway line. Here's a sixth tackle. Easily enough, and Hodgson's done well here.
Good play, that. Excellent play from David Hodgson. Eye on the ball all the time, reeled the high ball in and got them going forward. The game's warming up now, Dave. It really is.
Farrell finds touch. Wigan start again. Here's O'Connor, the Irish international.
And well met there by the Saints.
Well, they've been given a penalty, have Wigan.
Two-man tackle, I believe. David Fairley in at the tackle, Kevin Iro in at the tackle. And I think he feels it's Iro's arms there that just pulled the ball clear of Terry O'Connor's grasp, and rightly so. Penalty awarded to the Warriors by Mr. Cummins.
Here's O'Connor again, drives it forward. Right on the left-hand corner of the penalty box, you can see there. Football marking still in evidence. This is Johns. Cowan.
Got a good central field position here now, and attacking options both sides, although they are stacked on the left of the Warriors.
This is Newton. Johns. Farrell. Still Farrell. Oh, just needed another slither. This is Newton from dummy half, run off. Oh, great St Helens defending, and they've put him on his back. Not sure if he's over the line, he's not. So it'll be another play from here. Newton to Lamb. Lamb, long ball, interception. Here's a chance for Newland. Newland has pace and he has support. This is a run for the line now from Sullivan, and Sullivan might go the distance were it not for Dallas. Pace, match pace.
Outstanding play.
But St Helens are still stacked here. Joint and Long, And it's the Wiganer who puts it down in the end. Sean Long with a touchdown. It was a length of the field move, and Sean Long with the first try of the afternoon. What a try!
Well, this is breathtaking stuff. Adrian Lamb sees Paul Newlove out of the line, tries to go over the top into his support. Newlove plucks the ball out of the air, and at this point you think Sullivan's a try scorer for certain. But what a magnificent rear tackle there from Brett Dallas. But they've got the presence of mind to keep the ball alive. They come forward in waves, and that's the end result. A great try for Sean Long. So Sullivan gets tackled, Newlove at dummy after joint, and Long's in support. Great try behind the post there.
This is the ground, of course, in which St Helens scored that mightily impressive and mightily dramatic win over Leeds in the semi-finals of the Subcut Challenge Cup just a few weeks ago. Final of that coming up on BBC television in a couple of weeks' time. Here's Betts driving it forward for Wigan.
They're stacked again on the left-hand side, but they've gone right.
Werner, little dummy for the gap, and he's still staggering. But there was enough of a tackle there just to hold him up. Lamb. This is Johns. Long ball, Renoff. Renoff steps off his right, tries to fend away the defence, but Long it was this time who holds on. 8 yards away. Johns again. Dinks it, looking for the upright, I think. Radlinski will chase! And did he get the touchdown before the ball went dead? Well, the referee has put the square in the air, but Chris Radlinski refused to give up, and it might have paid dividends.
Well, he's looking for the post here, is Matthew Johns. He runs at the line, sees the gap, looks for the post, it just glances it. And that just holds the ball up enough. And it's Chris Radlinski who's chasing through. He never gives up, Chris Radlinski. And if you look from there, when the ball hits the boot, I think he's onside, certainly. And that slight slowing of the ball when it glances the post, if he grounds it, I think he's okay. And he's certainly done that. For me, that's a try. That's